It's a very estrogen-driven.
I know. I love it. Like, I could talk in
What is
these.
she trying to hide? What is she doing?
Yeah. My daughter's coming from cross state, and she's driving to Moab starting tomorrow. So I'm not sure when she's going to be here, but if she arrives in the interim, I will dodge off.
Sue,
Yes.
we let us see your face. We can only see like
I'll pull my hairs off.
Mother. We don't care. We are too. I just want to introduce you. These are my friends.
Hello.
This is Lori and Vikki. And Gwen just joined, and Laurie.
Hello, welcome.
This is my mom, everybody.
Thank you.
Oh, really? Okay. You're
Hey, you
famous.
can tell
Microphone's not very loud.
you look like
There it
mom.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, we have 2. That's good. 3. Yay.
And it's not even 1:30 yet, Central Time.
I know. It's good.
Got a minute.
Laurie, I'm going to take your note taker out.
Oh, your note taker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I guess we can let Brandon.
Brandon.
You should tell him this is a ladies only party.
He'll find out soon enough.
Brandon, you need to join the boys'
Hey,
room,
Brandon.
the ladies' room.
Isn't there a song like that? I'll meet you in the ladies' room.
I don't know. Let's hop on Suno.
If there wasn't, there is one now.
In the cool kids club, it's okay.
That's right. Yeah, so ladies, Lori and Vikki, I'm already getting a notification that my internet is unstable. So it's our building. It's been
If you just go and hop down with your mom, and then you'll be fine.
there. I might have to do that. But she's in the same building, so her internet's probably not any good either.
Oh dear.
Everybody having a good Saturday so far?
Just clean the bathroom.
Yes.
Woohoo! Hi, John.
That reminds
What
me.
I'm doing after this call, cleaning.
Hi, John. Welcome.
Yep, you're
Oh,
mute.
you're on mute. There you are.
Hello, good
How did you
afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. How did you hear about us today?
I think I saw something on Lori's feed, and I was
Great.
definitely interested.
Awesome.
Good.
We hope we can live up to your expectations.
Maybe you guys might want to call me Silver Fox here, since we've got 2 Loris.
Right.
We might. Oh dear. Then people will get confused when they see your name as Laurie and like, who's Silver Fox? But then, like,
The price to pay.
yeah.
That's right.
We kind of wondered if we would have like, a bunch of people who we already knew and like no one had to themselves, or if like, if it was going to be like all new people. So I think we have a good mix so far.
Yeah. Great.
Oh,
What do you think, Vikki and Kellye? Should we get started pretty soon? Should we give folks a few more minutes?
I think we should get started.
Yeah, I think we should start.
And we're recording. We are recording, so you can play this back later, or the people who are not at the beginning can play the beginning. Oh, whatever. So, Kellye, you want to kick off in case you get.
Sure. So welcome everybody. I'm Kellye Kamp, and I am part of a big AI enthusiast group, which Vikki and Lori and several others in this room are part of. But Lori and Vikki and I have been chatting for the last couple of weeks, just kind of forming a little offline group, just help each other when we've got problems or trying to figure out something that we can't figure out. And it's just become a really great way to ask our questions or get out our angst or whatever we need to do. But we were talking the other day and we discovered that we were all playing with Lovable, And I had just done something that I'd never used Lovable before, and I was very excited. And I told them, and they said, "Oh, show us, show us, show us." And that kind of led to us doing this little pop-up, because it was really interesting to see how other people, how Lori and Vikki were also building out of it, obviously completely different things than I was building. So we thought, well, that was fun. We got together and we shared our projects. We thought, wow, we should maybe share this with everybody else who's interested in learning how to build an app, and see just how easy it really is to do. And none of us have a lot of technical experience. Probably Vikki has the most. She's a web designer, and she just is a guru about learning new software. So she's probably the expert of the three of us. But anyway, we're just regular people. We're not IT people. We're not super technical. We're not developers and programmers. And yet here we are in 2025, able to build our own apps. And we thought other people would enjoy seeing that too.
In fact, I
Lori?
have a sticker
Vikki?
on my cup that says Tech Bro Tears. So
It's funny.
And I think too, our thought is not just us sharing, but also hoping to see what other folks in this group who are here today are working on. And there could be opportunities to help one another too. I know there's something I'm going to show you where I'm kind of stuck, and I'm like, maybe somebody will have an idea for how I can take it to the next step. Ready to rock and roll?
yep,
What do you-
I have nothing to add.
All right. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to kick us off. I'm very
Yay!
And I
See
think
it.
why I love this stuff so much is because it's possible. And I don't think I would have ever been able to figure this out before without this tool called Lovable. So my idea was, I'm doing these ChatGPT trainings, and I thought, how fun would it be at the end of the training to have a little bit of a quiz? And you can see I first worked with ChatGPT to come up with what the questions should be. And I did go through back and forth and changing things. And at first, ChatGPT wasn't even up on the latest versions of the different models. So I had to correct some of the questions it was asking. I love that I can customize it to my brand colors. I was able to figure out how to store it at the end and an end screen. And within the chat, you will be able to see an actual link here, and I can re-add it if anybody wants to try and do it on their own. One place I struggled here, you can see the sound. I really wanted to have sound effects if someone got an answer right or wrong. And despite my best efforts in creating projects in GitHub, I couldn't get the sounds to work correctly. All right, let's see the chat. I'm going to add this link here if you want to follow along, and I'll just briefly walk you through. Anybody know the answer to the first one?
The pigeon one. No.
Yes. And we can show too what it looks like when it's wrong. How can you, think again. There we go. But it does. It takes you through the quiz. Kind of boring, but I just thought I'd show that one. And then I have one more. Are there any questions or anything about the quiz? Anything you want to see more of? All right, we're moving on. Here's another one I created. So my family immigrated to America in 1918. And there happened to be a newspaper article about their journey. And I was able to take that newspaper article that had very detailed dates and events. And I don't know if I'm supposed to show this or not, but ChatGPT walked me through how to connect to Mapbox so that I could make an interactive map of their journey. So if you scroll down here, it kind of lists all of the different locations. And in the map, let's see if it asks me for the token again. That's the thing I'm having a hard time figuring out. But you can click on where they set off from, and then I can zoom and go through the map. And none of this would have been possible if I didn't have AI tools to help me build this. And tomorrow, I'm going to be showing this off to my family who lives in France, and they may have another historical journey that they want to document too. So there, they went to Irkutsk. Just kind of fun stuff. All right, That's all I got for you from this side.
That's so not
That's
all,
very
but that's all
cool.
she's showing us, right? So Lori,
Couple of use cases.
I do have a question. So on your very first presentation, can you just quickly talk us through how you prompted it, how you got to build that quiz?
So I first went to ChatGPT and I said, hey, I'm teaching this. Here are the things we're covering in the presentation. I want to create a quiz that makes people laugh along the way. I would like the answers to be somewhat easy to figure out, but definitely fun and playful. And that's how it started. And there were many iterations as we went through it, like that I wanted the hint piece of it, right? Because we had to go through what happens if they click the right answer? What is it going to behave like? They need to go next and they need to go to the previous. And then what the ending experience looks like, we also added in like we should give them a message depending on how they did. So if you got like 8 correct, I think confetti comes and it gives a really positive message. If they get 6 or 7 correct, it's, hey, you're on the right track, you're doing great. But those were some of the considerations. And because at the time I built that, I was on the free plan, it took 3 different days because I only got 5 prompts per day. So that was an interesting way. And I learned from Vikki. She's like, I try to do as much of the conversation as I can in ChatGPT and work out some of those details before I bring it into Lovable.
Good. Now, did you test it for the confetti? Did that actually create some kind of confetti? Did you tell it to do that? Okay.
I think I did. I'll go back and look while you guys
That's
are
awesome.
presenting. But yeah, all those little details you can just kind of ask as you go through. But on that one, the only thing I really couldn't figure out was sound effects and having it be the sound effects that I wanted.
Got it.
So did it give you sound effects, but not the ones you wanted? Or
It was like weird. It might have sounded like an animal farting. I don't know, but it wasn't what I hoped for.
I had a couple questions, Lori. First question is, what did you experience in connecting a domain in the app?
So the only thing I could figure out how to connect, I am still running this right through Lovable. I am not able to take it to that next step. That's something where I need help. I did create one Lovable where I embedded it into my website. So it works as a Lovable, but I just had to embed the page. But I think that's where I would love for more training or understanding of how to take it to that next level.
so
Gotcha.
I know you can download the code, and you can download the code into GitHub. But once you download the code, then it's no longer available to be edited in Lovable. So I haven't yet got to that step of downloading the code, but I will be working on that sooner or later, as soon as I get the guts to do it.
And then
Don't be afraid.
a second question, Lori, is
Yeah.
is there any kind of user access control that you've set up or that you were directed to set up?
Yeah, I can show you that here, I think. Let me share my screen real quick. And there could be other people on this call too who are even more qualified to talk about this stuff than I am. But here you have these options with publish, right? And you can, this particular one, actually, this is maybe where you see it. Darn it. Of where you make it, you have options to make it public or connect to GitHub. And for this particular one, I did make it public. So that's why I was able to share the link with everyone. I have not figured out how to publish this in a way to restrict who can see it.
Gotcha. Yeah, so some of these questions are related to a product I'm building with a team right now. We're trying to set it up in AWS, and so I've gone through like all the AWS. It's AWS Cognito is the service for user access control, and it's a free service. There's no time constraints compared to like other AWS services. But there's a lot, there's a pretty complicated process for going through the AWS route and setting up user access control. The first time, but you do it once and it's like, the light goes on, And then what I learned in that is that connecting a domain to in my team's case, it's a product, it's a web application. And when you connect a domain, it's associated to what AWS or what Amazon calls as a user pool. So you associate a domain and subdomains to the user pool within Amazon Cognito. And I'll stop right there because it already gets a little bit complicated.
Right.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'd like to explore that too. And I just want to say before Laurie has raised her hand, but I just want to say it would be awesome if everyone could introduce themselves in the comments, just so we know who everyone is. And everyone else knows who everyone is. Sorry, Laurie Silverfox, you had a question for Laurie Ignite.
Oh, you're on mute.
I wrote the code, ChatGPT and Claude, and so I just slipped it into Lovable like 10 minutes ago, and it worked perfectly. So, so I did an update on the app and changed like one little GUI. But do the iterations of the updates save individually, or are they overwriting each other? Because I like to save all my little parts of my edits so that if I want to go back to one that worked better than like, you know what I mean?
So I know you can ask it to go back steps. Like you can ask it to go to a previous step.
Okay, I've never coded before, so I didn't know.
Yeah, it does kind of save those things in the instructions. So,
but in my experience,
I can share this too.
Sorry, Laurie, in my experience, it was overriding. If I went back and gave it a different prompt, it would override what I had done before.
Okay.
So if there's something you're really loving, I would save it and like save the actual document, for example, that you're creating, like Laurie's screen right there. I would copy and save that so you can maybe try to go back and recreate it later. Mine was overriding.
Okay, thank you.
And this is actually a great way to see too all the things that changed throughout the days.
Yeah.
I hadn't really paid much attention to how it documented. Fix blank screen issue, update styling, add sound effects. You can see I got really stuck there with the sound.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing to remember is that, yes, you can go back to previous steps, but if there's something else you've changed in the meantime, it would take out those edits. So it like really goes back to that.
Cool. Mine only says preview
Vikki,
or code right now, but I think I
to-
have a free one.
Oh, I was just going to say that sounds similar to Google Docs, where you can go back to previous, but then you lose everything in between if you go back to a previous.
Yes.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay, Kellye, you want to show us your amazing?
Okay, so mine is an actual user case. I had a gentleman who's an investor who knows nothing about AI, but he knows that this is what I do. So he called and said, my partners and I have this issue. We're wondering if you can help us. And I said, well, I don't know, but I'll try. And then I thought, oh, this is a great case for Lovable. I didn't even really try the whole thing in ChatGPT, but I certainly use ChatGPT for my queries. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to start with the end result. And here's, oops, sorry. So they have a number of franchises of Hooters public. So this is the first document that it created for me. And there are a lot of iterations that went into getting this, but it's a pretty clean looking report. And it's doing all kinds of things, which I'll show you here in a second. Compliance checklist, balance sheets, invoicing, so forth and so on. So here is the actual kind of workflow that I went through. I want to show you that first, so this makes more sense
So,
as I'm
Kellye?
going through it. Yes, ma'am.
Kellye, I don't think you're sharing your screen if you think you are.
Oh, sorry. Thank you
I
for
was going
telling
to say
me.
something, but I was waiting for it to pop up because I thought she
I
was
get excited
you know.
and then I move it, I jump ahead. It says it's starting. It's just being very slow. I hope it's not my internet connection. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, now can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is the final report that I was able to get it to create for me. And this is what I'm saying, when you get something, an output like this that you really like, I would copy and save it. Now, this did not come directly, it did come from Lovable, but it was not in this format. It was more in text and not HTML. But when I copied and pasted it into Pages, for example, then it gave me this output. So it was a little confusing at first because I was getting two different outputs, and it took me a while to figure that. But it did in the end give me a P&L statement, the Czech to US GAAP conversion guidelines. I asked it for a compliance checklist, and I'll explain what all this means in a minute. Notes, additional considerations, and then a spreadsheet, a balance sheet, payment information, exchange rates, and some additional notes. So that was the output. Then going back, this is sort of the workflow. So this all started because I received this email from a client. Now literally this was the whole email. I've spoken to Kellye regarding the accounting reporting for our Czech company, specifically reinstating financial statements, which it's right now taking them about a year to get their financials, just because there's nobody in the Czech Republic that understands US accounting and all of its regulations, and vice versa. So, for example, you can't write off equipment in the Czech Republic like you can in America. So it's just very convoluted and very confusing. So this was his original email to me. So I went to chat. I just literally copied and pasted his very short email. I said, please create a synthetic invoice and financial statement from the Czech franchise that I can submit to Lovable and build this app. And so it created an invoice for me to start with in HTML. Then I've created the invoice. So that's what chat said to me. It's created the invoice. And then I said, okay, now say this is a PDF that I can upload. Well, it just so happens, in case you guys haven't figured this, you have to upload JPEG or more of a visual document to Lovable. You cannot upload a PDF. At least in my experience. Is that true, Vikki and Lori?
I haven't tried it, to be honest.
You haven't tried? Well, it doesn't take PDFs for some strange reason. So anyway, I had to keep converting it back to a JPEG. And then this was my prompt to Lovable. I need a way to convert this invoice that I've uploaded or from ChatGPT from Czech currency to US, create synthetic data for an American company with a Czech franchise, then generate a statement and an invoice that can convert and automatically translate the currency and the language. And then this is what it eventually created for me, all of those things that I just showed you. And of course, this was a number of iterations. It was not quite this simple, but these are all the things that I can sort of asked it. So there's the initial then an implementation of the proper invoice. So this whole first part right here was really just building up that very first invoice, which was my first project. Then once I got a really good output for the invoice, I thought, I wonder what else I can create. So then I started saying, give me some explanatory text about the management discussion and analysis section, and put it above the P&L statement and the balance sheet components. Created a comprehensive US GAAP conversion guideline, again, so they can check it off. I said, put it in a check so they're not missing anything that they should be covering. Held compliance checklist is, include additional considerations about exchange rates and calculations, materiality thresholds, tax effects, etc. And keep in mind, I don't even know what I'm saying. right? Like I'm speaking a foreign language that I don't understand. So I didn't even have to really understand a lot about all. It was just partly asking ChatGPT and taking from that original text and then just letting it guide me a little bit. So it created all of these things, and then it went back and started putting things in reg text rather than HTML. I spent quite a bit of time up in this first section trying to get it back to HTML. And then I decided, okay, this is the format that I want Helvetica 10 point, headers in 18 point, subheaders in 14. So I repeated that for my other ones. And then it ensured that all my components were working together seamlessly. And then, so that was the total workflow that I eventually went through. Yes. Somebody have a question?
No,
And
you were
then-
just glitching a little bit. Is
Oh.
your internet?
Sorry, yeah, my internet's bad. But this is what Lovable actually gave me. So my P&L statement is here. Then, which I love these tabs, these clickable tabs. So now I can see my balance sheet, my checklist. So this was actually created in Lovable itself. Downloaded it right here to get those JPEGs or PDFs that I showed you earlier. It's giving my exchange rate up here. I can go back to my P&L statement. There's my analysis. Then it also gave me this toggle button automatically, which I didn't ask for, but this gap. So when I turn it on, then depreciation shows up down here at the bottom. When I turn it off, depreciation goes away because depreciation is not recognized in the Czech Republic. So this way they're not having to create a whole new P&L statement to send to their people over there. They can just click to show it. But anyway, I was pretty impressed with all the things that it created for this particular project. And then again, I was able to just go back and download it and get all of this without doing any formatting at all. All of the formatting was already done for me.
That's so cool.
Mhm.
Becky has a
I'll stop
question for you.
presenting. Mm-hmm.
Quick question. Is the,
Hi,
the
Jackie.
report, hi, fantastic use case for this. Is the report provided to you in Czech? And so basically the app is taking a report that's already created and then basically converting it, translating it, converting it? Or is some of that analysis done by AI?
Actually, in this particular case, I did not have any existing reports at all. All I had was that one short sentence in an email that the client sent me. So I just asked ChatGPT to create synthetic data for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I took that synthetic data and uploaded it into Lovable, and it took it from there. And then it just sort of made up the rest as it went.
Got it. But like when you hand this off to the company or the person who asked for it, basically that's what they want to be able to do is basically take a report they already have. Does that?
And I would
Yes.
probably build that out a little bit differently, because what I've discovered just in this exercise is that it is still generative.
Yeah.
So it's not saving anything where I can just go back and reconstitute what I've already done. So that's why I'm saving it offline. So I think that's phase 2 I haven't even really gotten into yet, but I'm hoping that they'll give me an existing report that I can build out, maybe create a GPT for this kind of reporting, and then I can format it the way I want and have consistent information. But just to be able to convert from Czech currency to US currency, and then also understand the accounting regulations that were different and give reports and then checklists for compliance. I mean, I was kind of blown away by all the things that it offered me.
Yeah. Thanks for
Tell them how much time it saved the company, Kellye.
Pardon?
Tell them how much time it saved the company, how long it used to take them to do all that work before.
Oh, it's still taking them. They haven't even seen this yet. I just did this for fun for me. So I've not received anything actually from the client. We're supposed to meet next week. So I'm going to be very prepared. But so far, like today, it's taking them over a year to get their financial statements back to the investors. Because of all the different regulations between the two countries, and the people there don't know how to do our accounting. The people here don't know how to do their accounting. And so it's a real struggle. So I'm very excited to present this to them.
So my hand went down when I butted in, but my question was, is the exchange rate, does it change depending on the market? Is it like coded in that way, or is it static?
It is, yes. So actually back in the report itself, it changes it either daily, or there's actually another tab that I can click and it will update it in real time at will. But it's automatically updating it every single day, and it gives you a date, and here's the currency rate, and it's in a couple of different places. So I've actually done this a couple of different times just to see what it will reproduce. But it is the currency rate each time, and it is in real time.
So cool. Serena.
Hey, Serena.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you know, that year lag seems like somebody could be robbed blind in such a long time and not know it until there's no evidence of who or what went where by the time you figure it out.
Right. Well, and I don't know how you spend your money and tied up in investments and you don't even know where it's going or how it's being used or if you're making money for a whole year. So I think they're going to be excited that they've got any solution.
Yeah, I agree.
So I've got a chance to be a real hero here.
I'm with you. I can't imagine having money to invest and just not being able to know what's happening with it. I mean, I know some investors who wouldn't be okay with it, you know, a couple of weeks or a month, but a year. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I wanted to add.
Right.
Crazy. Okay. Any more questions for Kellye? And I'm just going to share tips with mine. So, oh, okay. All right. Let me find, where is mine now? It's not that one. It's this one. Okay. So what I am sharing is, hang on, I'm going to pop into my site now. Okay, my site's live. Am I sharing the font factory, style your name? I can't even tell. No. Yeah, I'm sharing. Hang on, share this.
Style your name.
Okay, sorry, it was gone. Okay, and now oh, that's the live one. I don't want the live one. I want this one. Okay, so I've got to get rid of this box here and share this tab. Okay, so I just wanted something really that I could show off and just show a couple of like style tips. So really, I just said, I don't know, where is this going? Okay, it was create a simple app where users can enter their name. The app will display it in a fun randomized style, use a variety of fonts, colors, and sizes to make each name unique, and every time it's entered, the UI should have a text input field, a generate button, and a display area for the stylized name. And it's not going to use anything funky like outside, so it's going to just be really quick. And just use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript because I didn't want to go into any of that. Let's add Superbase, which we haven't touched on yet. So it did create, let's see, the first version is like this, and it was literally just enter your name and then it generates your name, and so if I put Vikki in there and it generates your name and it just like generates a different one, different color, different background, different font, like each time. I don't honestly know what I would use this for because it's like literally just a throwaway app. Okay. So I wanted to make some customizations to say, let's use, like they're pretty basic fonts. I wanted to use mainly handwriting fonts and display fonts. So then it came up with this one, which is oops, I can't spell my name, but that's, then it started using like handwriting fonts and something that was a little more, you know, a little better than basic. Still fairly basic though. So then I thought, okay, so what if the person, you know, whoever was using it wanted to change change the colors. So I added an option to change the color, and that looked like this. So you just check the box, and so it doesn't randomize it, and it only gives you like a choice of 8 colors, or you could put in like your own hex code color or RGB or whatever. So then it's going to create them all in the one color. And the reason I was thinking of that is like, if, you know, people like designing websites or whatever, and they just want, you know, the color that's appropriate for the design on their website, they might want to just pick, and it's not even working. Look at that. It's like, it's gone back to pink. But anyway, it was working before. So then back here, then I thought, what if they could download an image of the name as a vector file? And so this is what I added in down here. That's not appearing there. Okay, let's go back and find out why not. It said it added a download SVG button that allows us use to save their stylized name as a vector graphic. So maybe if I hit restore. Oh, it's still not there. Anyway, it did give me a button that just says download, and it had the little download icon. I don't want to just go in and use too many because they only have like something like 6 prompts a day on the free version. And I haven't updated yet, so I don't want to risk the chance of getting kicked out of here. But it did have an SVG button, and the file did download. I was going to show you that, but I can't in this screen. So, but the next thing I wanted to do was to say, okay, like this is it's all like very vanilla, like, and I wanted to change some stuff. So if you go into edit, you can actually edit it visually. So if I wanted to go into here, the input, you see it comes up on this side, and I wanted to change the background of the input, like to a different color. You can change that there. So you can change the background. You can give it like a border radius. So the border radius takes the corners off the input. So if you go back to none, it's square. And then if you go back to here, it gives you like different options for the sizes. I kind of like, because I like that, the pill look, I guess they call it. You can change the margins and the padding to be, you know, it just makes it closer, further away, whatever. So all that kind of stuff. You can tweak everything there. So when that's done, then I wanted to change the actual button. I found that I could not change the color of the button. I can only change the color of the text in the button. So not quite sure why that is, but there's probably something in there that I could change it. And again, with the border radius. So you can go from just like the square button to, you know, anything rounded. And then you can actually, I think you can actually change the background here. Oh yeah, so the background of the actual app, you could, oops, let's go something that actually shows the color. That's actually, I like that, the ombre look there. So, it doesn't really have I don't know what happened if you put the, oh, there it goes. It made it a circle. If you change the border radius, it's actually, okay, so it's actually affecting the background of the, like that container that's sitting on top of the background there, but that's weird. So let's take that out. Your padding, I would imagine, is going to, it's going to show like the actual background versus like the background color. And then there are some advanced, it was showing the advanced. So you could actually, like, you know, if you know what you're doing, you could go in there and you could update it there, because that's the CSS behind it. So if you're familiar with CSS, you could go in and change that. And then save it. And yeah, that's really all I wanted to share.
So fun. You need to sell that to Google Forms.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So, okay. I don't know if anyone has any questions, but I wanted to leave, or we wanted to leave, like a lot of time for people to jump in if they've made their own apps, or if they have any other hints or, you know, hints, tips, questions, whatever. I know Brandon made a pretty cool one yesterday. If you feel like talking, Brandon. He might be on
stepped
deck.
away.
I see Zach here. I know he's done some cool stuff with Lovable. Do you want to share anything, Zach? I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, thanks. I have just explored with Lovable like you have, and as I said in the chat, I decided to use a V0, which is from Vercel, because I'm interested, and I'm a non-technical developer, but I run a kind of a development team, and so we're trying to figure out how to embrace this technology, and I'm the guinea pig, and I'm loving it. But I'm trying to figure out how we can, commit the code to GitHub, connect to Superbase, just kind of have apps that can scale beyond these proof of concepts. And so that's kind of what I'm in the thick of right now, is figuring out how to get the builds to deploy. And so really loving seeing the demos and hearing how people are approaching it. Really excited, but I don't feel like I have something lovable to share right now.
I feel like you can, like, yeah, I know you mentioned Superbase. I have one of mine that's connected to Superbase, and I feel like you can go down this whole rabbit hole of things to connect to. Another one that it was trying to connect me to was Clerk, CLERK. I was trying to create something that was, hang on, I can share it, because I think it's something that we may all be interested in. I know Kellye and I have been working on it, is how to protect your GPTs, right? So,
Yes.
So
it's not there yet. I'm just a spoiler alert. It's not possible yet.
Yeah, it's really not. And like, so it was Gata GPT Gateway was the one that's its name for it. But it's a bunch of different things. Like, we have to log in. Oh, hang on. There we go. View tab. Is that the right one? Yep. We have to, like, you got to like log into Docker, and you've got to log into Superbase, and you've got to be logged into like so many things to get this thing to try to work. So this is the interface that it's given me. But let's see. There's so many things in the like, so much code and so many APIs, and yeah, because this is the thing. Like, it says it was telling me to add my OpenAPI key, but it wasn't telling me where to add it. So in the end, it gave me like this little button here that says add your API key, and so that's where I ended up adding it. But yeah, so yeah, I was into Superbase, and then I was into, I don't know if it tells me. I wish there was like a search in this. Maybe I can, hang on, find Clerk, if I could spell, or yeah, here. So authentication using Clerk for managing user access and identity. So it can definitely like skew your ideas into what it wants you to do. So I feel like, if you work most of that stuff out in ChatGPT, and then you say, okay, this is what I want to do. I have all the instructions I need, just follow this, rather than it like shooting you off into different places. It's kind of an advantage. So that's why I like to do most of my stuff in ChatGPT first. I also only have a free account, so I would work on, like 6 prompts and then have to wait till the next day. And then with ADHD, sometimes I just don't remember to come back to this. So it's not been a very flowy process for me.
And Vikki, the sign in to protect the GPT was all about putting like something in front of it so not everybody could access it, right? Without paying for some type of membership, or it's kind of like the bouncer saying, hey, have you paid? Now I'll let you in.
Yeah, so you would have to so the user would have to have like an API key to access the GPT, And what we were trying to do is like create it so people couldn't just get the URL for a GPT and then share it with everyone. If you had sold it to them, then there are unscrupulous people who don't like to keep those things to themselves. So it wasn't like about sharing, like not sharing the code or anything. It's just like you've paid for this, like, and I would like to keep it just between me and you, kind of thing. So the only options currently are to like if you sell a GPT, you can go out and like change the URL every week or every month or every 6 months or whatever, and that would prevent that. And then you would only give the URL to the new URL to the person who had actually purchased it. But if you have a lot of GPTs, that's a very cumbersome like process. So we were trying to work out like how to, okay, so can I host these on my website, and can I create either a subscription that people have access to them while they have the subscription, or you can just sell them one-off to someone and they just won't be able to go out and share them with all their friends. So we're still working on that.
I've spent the last
update.
I've spent the 6 months.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, Vikki. I've spent the last 6 months trying to figure out this problem, and still glitching. Oh,
a little.
Bad internet.
So you're trying to do what OpenAI had initially said they were going to do.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Digital gods.
Hey all, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. You can call me Glenn. You can call me Digital God. I don't care really. But I've been working on Lovable for a while now, and I really do like it. I have found some things that I hate about it naturally. And let me see. Let me present, if I may. Let's see if I can. Can you see
You should
this
be able
here?
to. Not yet.
Not yet, huh? I thought I was presenting.
Let me just.
Oh, okay. I see. Sorry, it's been a while. Oh.
There you go.
There we go.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna just get rid of this guy over here. As you may or may not know, I do the titles, the chapters, and the summaries for Kyle's YouTube. And I have a program that I wrote on a server out in the cloud that I have, and that's written in Flask, which is way beyond the scope of what we're talking about here. And I wanted to make it simpler. So what I did was I created the YouTube video analyzer. Not a very original name, but quite honestly, I think that Lovable picked that. And it works like this. If we go out to YouTube, I hope you can see this as well. And we get a URL. Are you still with me here, folks?
Yep.
Yep.
Someone give me a yes or a no.
We see your YouTube video analyzer screen right now where you might be
Okay.
copying and pasting the
Thanks.
YouTube.
I get really nervous that I'm showing this to nobody. So I'm going to paste in the YouTube URL, and I've managed to set up Superbase so that I have an OpenAI API. I have the Google Gemini 1.5 Pro, which I think is the best for this particular application. And DeepSeek, I wanted to try the large 67 billion model. And it's been interesting, but I tell you, it's not as good as Gemini.
Huh.
But if I had a preference, I would use Google every time. And then all I have to do is click Analyze. And what's going to happen is, one of the things I like that Lovable did was it decided on its own that it's going to send all 3 queries off at once to Google instead of doing one at a time. So it retrieves my it retrieves rather the YouTube transcript. I'll tell you in a minute how I do that. And it takes that transcript and then comes up with 5 titles. I pick the one I like, and it comes up with a chapterization of the video.
Nice.
And so this happens to be a news video. Yeah, that debacle in the White House the other night.
Mm.
So so here I am, and now I can just I can click here to copy it and paste it into YouTube. I picked the title that I like, and I copied the one that I like, paste that into YouTube, and for the chapters, the same thing. Now, one thing that I've noticed with all the AIs, it doesn't matter which model you pick. If you ask it to analyze some text, and I'm a big data analysis guy. If you pick data and tell it to analyze it, and then you tell it 10 seconds later to analyze the same data, it'll come up with a different answer.
Huh.
Yep.
So I set up a regenerate, because maybe I don't like what it said as a summary. Maybe I want to try a different flavor. Same thing with the chapters. I noticed, we'll see here at the end of the video is around 3 minutes and 11 seconds. Let's see what happens if I regenerate that now. Yeah, it came up with a totally different listing, but around the same time. So I just regenerate at a cost for the API, of course, until I find the text that I like, and that's how I get all this stuff for Kyle's YouTube. Now, I want to let you know that when you want to pull data from YouTube back in I think it was beginning of 2024, I believe. They stopped letting people pull in data unless you're behind a residential IP address. They did this, I believe, because they didn't want big companies going in and grabbing video data. I guess they were getting overwhelmed, is probably what happened. So they made sure that anybody who's asking for data to come from YouTube does that behind a residential IP address, meaning your home router. So what I had to do was I had to grab a Raspberry Pi, a little small computer, and write an API server. It sounds like a lot of work. It was a lot of work. And so I had this little tiny cigarette pack sized computer running my API server at home. And I gave Lovable the API information to go out to my home server. My home server grabs the transcript, totally legal as far as YouTube is concerned and proper. And then I send that transcript back to the Lovable application, and then it does the analysis by doing queries out to whatever model I pick, Google or DeepSeek or OpenAI. So the possibilities with Lovable is way beyond what many people may assume. That you can just do a few things here and there. It's really, I'm just discovering now that you can link your application up to virtually an unlimited number of servers. And grab information from wherever you want. So I have multiple servers now that I'm working with. And yes, this took me a little while. It was longer than a 2-hour app. I will say this also, that the way I started was that I started with ChatGPT. I said, ChatGPT, write me an API server for my Raspberry Pi at home that does this. And it gave me the blueprint, and I filled in the details. Slap that onto my Raspberry Pi, I was off to the races. Once I had the transcript, I could then tell Lovable, okay, here's my OpenAI API key. Here's my DeepSeek API key. Here's my Gemini API key. And plug those into Superbase. So now it's seeing 3 different organizations with models. It's seeing my server, and I'm not done yet because I am getting ready to just connect this to everything I possibly can. I don't want to just analyze YouTube data. I want to analyze any data. So I'm thrilled. I have the $50 a month version of Lovable. I'm no longer on the free version, and that's a big nut to lay out. I'm so oversubscribed right now. If my wife knew what I was paying, I think there'd be hell to pay. But
Funny.
so I just wanted to give you an idea that this goes way beyond anything that that a lot of us are ever going to use it for. But the possibilities are probably almost endless. Now, one final word, if I may. What I
That's
hate
amazing.
about
Thank you for sharing that. Sure.
Oh, okay, no problem. All right, let me give someone else a chance to speak there, and I'll stop presenting.
No, you had a
That was
final thought.
amazing. Yeah, please.
Well, the final thought. What I hate about Lovable is one of the things I noticed that, as you can see, if I go back in my history, and there's going to be a lot of history here. It gets the stupidest things wrong. For instance, it parses my data and it joins the words together where it shouldn't. It doesn't separate the words properly. And I have gone on now for a week trying to get it to separate the words properly. And it is the dumbest AI I have ever come across when it comes to what I think should be simple things for an AI these days. It's when it gets stupid, there's like almost no fixing it. So I have gone back and back and my final thought on this is that when I first started, but the more I worked on the application, the worse it actually got. So I do think, or I know personally, that it is possible to overwork the application and have it come out worse than when you started. But I don't know why that is. It just is. It's like working a dough for bread. You know, if you overdo it, the bread doesn't come out right. It's kind of the same thing with this. And I hope that Lovable fixes some of these nuances that it has. I call them nuances. I'm being very kind. But my application has actually gotten worse in some areas where they worked on it before. I mentioned
the same thing to Kellye before. It's like once it starts going off the rails, it just seems to go even more off the rails the more you try to bring it back. So, Laurie.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. I just have a question for you, Glenn, actually. So in the same way that you're going in and gathering YouTubes, I have a zillion RSS feeds that I follow every day. And instead of my filtering them myself as they come in, I have them filtered by topic and subject like that. Can that filtering be done within Lovable?
The filtering, yes, it can.
So that I get what I want at the end, yeah.
Yeah. I have I may want to talk to you on DM on AI Salon, but
great.
Let me see if I can bring up something on my Big Little God site. See if I still have it up there.
Well, I can talk to you about it later because I had some more questions about that same thing. But I do have a Lovable that I made. So if anybody wants to see.
Oh, you do? Okay. Well, I'm thrilled.
The hard part for me, and I just put it in the chat, is like, if I get on the right page, it's going to be a freaking miracle. So I'm like a tab hoarder, and I also have a couple browsers open. But so I'm looking for actually the share your screen part. Is that like down at the bottom?
Right down the bottom next to the smiley face.
Oh, it says present now.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to put that on, and then maybe it's this. I don't know. It's not that, but I'm in the right direction.
Yeah, you can either pick up.
There it is. Okay, I found it.
I
found it. Oh my God.
Yay.
I know. This is amazing. I'm going to stand up and clap.
And that was like your first try. I mean,
it's, yeah, but you know, it's my first try of 60,000 throughout my tech life. So it's like, that was just the first live try. I'm just getting a white screen here. You guys, are you seeing anything at all?
We see a white screen, but like if you actually go to the app in like, rather than trying to access it through the meeting, like you have to go to the tab that like your Google Chrome tab or whatever it is. That's
Yeah, I have the Lovable. Yeah, so this is where it's not.
Yeah, maybe
I
refresh
have no
the
idea.
page.
Yeah, maybe. Let's try that. Zoop. Ah!
Hey, there you go.
Okay, so I just did this yesterday with Claude, who's my best friend. You guys might know him. And I just had an idea because of all the tariffs that are coming down the road. I wanted to, for my own family and for my friends, to have a way of kind of expecting when something is at the lowest price it's going to be for a while. And so it'll kind of give you a choice of hoarding, you know, or to load up on it, or what you're going to expect according to, since the tariffs are within Mexico, China, and Canada, what products that you have generally that you use are really going to be affected and when. Okay. So I started it, and this is just going to be kind of a template. So I have to do some more things, but I have it, you know, so you can go into like any variety of categories for the item, and then the specific one. And then you can see this guy changing over here, and it's getting the anticipated price increase because of where you live and and I also built in this thing that it's assuming that a lot of the places are already changing their prices. So they're not really waiting until their tariffs come in. They're just doing it in advance of getting the actual tariff so that they can, you know, make the most profits in the largest amount of time. So, which is, you know, it's business. So I put it in here. So it's going to have that anticipated price increase. And then just to make it a little bit more fair and rounded by populace, I have it kind of like an estimate of how much money you make, because it's not going to affect everybody the same way, because you might make a lot less, and your prices and services are going to go at a different rate according to your income, you know, so it might be a bigger percentage. So that, and then I have it, it kind of gives your bracket for your income. See how it just changed to upper middle? I'm pointing at it with my finger, but you guys can't see that.
Yeah.
So it's middle income, and then it goes like that. And then, you know, it tells you what the cost increase is down in the bottom right in the green area, budget impact. And storage capacity on the left-hand side here is basically, if you have a store, like if you have a Home Depot, or if you have like a bedroom in your house, you know, so how much stuff can you buy? Or can you buy in bulk, you know, that type of thing. So I'm telling it that I have moderate storage space. Just now before the phone call, I thought, you know, what's missing is my home as an option, because that's not a warehouse. That's not a store. That's not a big back room. That's actually my bedroom or something like that. So limited storage. I'm going to start defining square footage in these things and a little bit more. I think that I'm going to start putting in like a weekly flyer to these people so that I can, or to like our local stores, for instance, and check price grids and see how they're varying, and then we can average out a price increase for a particular store, just to save as much money as we can as we go through this. So that's basically my new app. So
I think we need so we can like get into everyone's brains, and like, how do all your brains work to figure out this kind of stuff that is needed? And
yeah. Well, I'm a detail freak, so it's like, so I'll tweak this forever and we'll all be long dead, but it's like, but anyways, I thought it was really easy to do. I mean, the conversation on the left is only from this morning, when I just wanted the one change to add. I added retired, for instance, for income type, because that's going to be different. That's me. And, you know, and I added my home for something. So you can, and it's not perfect by any means, and it certainly doesn't recognize everybody, but I'm going to want to eventually make it so that it can. Just so it can be a real tool. Like, you know what, I see that bananas are just going to go through the roof in a couple of weeks. I love bananas, so I'm going to buy them now. How much can I save overall? Blah, blah, blah. You know.
Do eggs. Do eggs.
I know I should. That's right. I'm so freaking over eggs that I I don't think I know how to spell it anymore. So it's but that's a good idea. I could do that for masses, and
Lori, I love that title. The Blair
I could
method
change
is
what the Blair
awesome.
method. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, ChatGPT. I mean me. Yeah. So I had several names, and because that is my last name is Blair, so that works. And I wanted to use the AI, which is actually in my last name, which just occurred to me like a couple months ago. So anyways, that's going to change. And I also have this whole marketing plan for doing this, and I have like all this background stuff that's going to be implemented with the whole thing. So that's why I gave it a name like the Blair Method, and bought the domain and all that crap. So that's my life.
I know Kellye has. I just wanted to say, like, we were due to finish 3 minutes ago, but a number of us are as long as anyone needs. This is such an awesome topic. Anyone needs to lead. I do also. You're not a member to the salon. Go to the AI Salon AI and join. It's a salon. Join. It's for free and it's just great for me. Sorry, Kellye. Go ahead.
No, so Lori first.
So I think I can stop you. Yeah.
I think you could sell this to Costco and places like that,
Well,
Sam's Club.
Yeah, I want to do that. That was like, it was just something I thought of yesterday, but I think that it's, I can put a price on it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And then also, I haven't even looked. I know Lovable, you can switch your chats to private or public. Where can we go and find other Lovable platforms that people have built? Is there a place to do that? Like the GPT store?
Are you asking?
I'm just asking generally. Does anybody know? I've never actually explored it.
Because people have made them public. Where are they public?
Right.
Good question.
Correct.
Like a Google search with is asterisk Lovable.dev, which is bring it. I don't know. Let me try it out while you're all.
No, like the present. Has anybody else built anything that they want to share?
I just had, for Lori, this is John, I just had a crazy idea, like we were talking about Costco or Sam's Club, like think about like the acts or the, I guess, part of your go-to market strategy. Is the thought I have like just now for you, like pretty crazy, where you would be walking into the store and you know how they greet you when you come in. Well, maybe you can, that greeter could let you scan a QR code and then it would load your app or bounce you to your web app, and the people could start using it as they're browsing the aisles right away.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of
privacy
like
and data security not thought about, obviously, but
I think it's going to point you to the store for one thing, because you're going to have a couple of choices, and then you'll have the shopping schematics and all that stuff. So I'm going to have it in some RSS feeds. We'll see. It's like all kind of a thing that's happening in here right now, and it's a mess. It's a mess in there, man. So.
Brilliant.
Lori, Sam's already has that. They've got the feature where you can scan things as you're shopping and then check out without going through a person. I could see them, since they've already got that shop and go kind of app for their customers, I could see them really utilizing something like what you've built, because customers are already using the app within the store for that purpose. And I love it, because when you only have to go to Sam's, I don't even live near Sam's, but my family lives near Sam's, so I bought a membership. And when I do go through there, it's nice. I can go in for 4 things because I can shop on my own and I don't have to stand in a line for 30 minutes. So I don't know. I can see that. Really being something utilized within that. I mean, they're already using the app anyway in the store.
that's a great idea. I think that Instacart
So,
can be
go
added
for
to
it.
it too, you know.
Oh yeah.
So but just I want to save people some money, man.
We knew you
Yeah,
would.
right.
We'll get rid of that
Yeah.
retiring income. Like, no, you
Hey,
got
if we're,
$5 million.
if we're all going to Kyle's play, we can also all still get
Yep.
together for free, right?
Right, yes. Yeah. That's fine.
Another retirement failure.
Go ahead.
I think retirement is just code for having time to do all the things you really want to do.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's all I do all day long is just laugh up, man. I'll tell you what.
I'm in education, and people all the time are like, what would you do if you retired? And I'm like, the stuff I do all summer, I just keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know, we get all the summer off, and I'm like, it's hard for me to go back to work because I've got stuff I do all the time all summer long.
I got stuff, man.
Lots of stuff. Yeah.
Gwen, go ahead.
Yeah, so Lori, I love what you built, and it got me thinking. I did in Cove. I took our grocery list from 3 different shopping stores, and I put it in there and said, okay, create a chart for me. Let me know where the best place is to buy whichever products, and to add on to it the whole thing about the tariffs, so that it knows this is where I generally shop. These are the products I get. The tariffs are going to affect me. Should I continue shopping there or somewhere else? I mean, I think that's brilliant. And then to say, here's how much money I'm going to save you. Because that's what I think hits people the most.
And I think that one of the things I don't know if you guys saw it, but it has a substitute area so that although we're getting hit with tariffs, I mean, you might have something that has maple syrup in it from Canada. But guess what? I live in New Hampshire. We get bitter maple syrup here. So it's like you can get it at a cheap, you know, there's going to be options for you. It's like, this is what you get. So why don't you get this instead type of thing? I don't know. We'll see.
Love it. That's awesome.
We'll see.
Cool. Anyone have anything else to share? Still waiting for Brandon to get on Daddy Judy so he can share his. Maybe he'll share. Okay, one thing I did was we're trying to have more of these like pop-up style meetings where, you know, just anyone can share what they're working on, or you know, need within a deep dive on something or whatever. Let me know if so just like let you have something you want to share, or if you have an idea someone else to share what they're doing. I know we all miss having Kyle's AI learning lives on, you know, on the weekend. So, trying to fill up with some extra weekends thing. So just let me know when we something out and get the joy. You want to get, or we can someone else to present something and put on the schedule. And just keep sharing and growing.
Awesome.
If no one else has anything.
Well, thank you, Vikki and Lori. Yeah, so much fun.
It was.
I'm just grateful to learn from everyone else and see all the wonderful things that they're doing.
Yeah, amazing.
Thank you, guys.
So there is pop up tomorrow. If you another into learning DaVinci Resolve.
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah.